Hey guys, this is Kirop speaking, and today we are in Tea Garden Simulator for a little playthrough of the small-scale tea production plantation simulator where you make boutique teas, and those can be of varying quality. It all depends on the weather, the plants you grow, your soil treatments, as well as the process from fresh leaves all the way to the finished product. Quite a lot to take in there, and I'm going to show you a way around it. Also, in case you're interested, I'm actually quite involved in making this game at the moment, and for those of you who aren't interested in that, you can skip right ahead. I've placed the marker down below in the video timeline, but to those of you who want to keep listening, here we go. Short summary. So, the past few months, like 4 or 5 months, I have been pretty active in the development of the game as a volunteer developer. I've become the systems designer of the game, as you see right there, systems design, right? And basically this stemmed from the fact I was giving feedback way back then when I was doing my first videos on the game, when it was launching right into early access in a really rough state. Nothing really worked as intended, and that trend continued, but it is no more the case. But also, the developer was very keen on hearing my thoughts on this, and so what transpired was that I got more and more active in helping out in development and pointed to various mechanics that were obviously not working as intended, and also pointed to solutions, because me as a systems designer for automation and the cyclist tactics, of course, this is not my first rodeo making game mechanics. And these game mechanics in the game were, let's say, a little wonky at best. And I basically set out to redesign every single game mechanic in the game, and there are only very few exceptions that aren't completely overhauled at this point. So I'm somewhat qualified to talk about gameplay at this moment in this game. So it took quite a lot of work. Maybe it was for me 1.5 months worth of work in my free time as a volunteer, but I think that has really paid off in this game. So let's jump into it and see what it has become, because the wonky days are certainly over. Now it is a different kind of wonky, the wonky that I like. Anyway, let's jump into it. We are going to start a new business, and that business shall be OK Tea Inc. Because we make teas that range from not so okay to quite okay. So let's do this and get our quick start. I think a good way of starting this is not explaining everything very front-loaded, but rather just get into it, and over time I'll drop more and more explanation into it so that you can see some gameplay pretty quickly instead of listening to me explain things for half an hour. And then it's like, okay, could the game please start now? Thanks, Gerov. So we are going to choose a plot of land, and I have selected for you. Should we go for this or this? You know what? I do want to have a bit of a challenge. This one I haven't tried yet to start with, and I'm going to do exactly that. We are going to buy this plot of land for a decent amount of monies. We do start with 50,000 here, and what we're going to do is take a look at what this plot of land is actually good at. Pretty solid overall, middling stats. There's one thing that is sticking out, and that is, if you can pronounce this properly, violexantine. And that is a compound that is common to oolong teas. That is a sign of quality for oolong teas. So we do now need to choose a tea plant, a so-called cultivar, that is of good compatibility to this plot of land. Let's see, we don't need to go for the cheapest, I wanted to say shit, but let's not call it that, because it's not growing brown sausages, it is growing tea. like, the TV30 is super inexpensive, has lots of yield, so you make large quantities of tea. Great to start out with. For instance, on this plot of land is really good for it. It's a large plot of land too. It's 1,200 square meters here, and we chose one that is quite a bit smaller. So we need to have higher quality tea to make up for that. But anyway, we do want to choose a cultivar that grows on there that is making us some nice oolong tea. And I would prefer if it also was pretty good at either white tea or green tea, because those tend to not get in the way of each other. They are harvested in different seasons, in different flushes, as they call it. Oh, I just noticed I should replace myself because I'm in the way of a lot of things, so one sec. So now you can see properly. Sorry about that. So we were here, right. There you see the little cups of tea, which I was in the way of. And yep, Kidan looking very good. It has a decent yield and otherwise also pretty solid properties. It's not the best in pest resistance and stuff, but yeah, it's fine. Other tea plants here I don't think would be a good choice. Let's go with this one. It's quite expensive. It's, like I said, a medium quality clone, but pretty solid. So let's go. And the dude here, I forgot his name. I haven't played the campaign that much. But he's saying that for once now, just because it's me, we are going to mature the tea plants right away so that we can start the game running instead of waiting for a few months for those to mature. Usually tea plants take 3 to 5 years to mature. In this game, we've chosen to make it 3 months, I believe, so that you don't have to wait forever. Anyway, the game runs in weeks, and there are 4 weeks per month, and that's basically all you need to know. It's turn-based, split up into fieldwork and factory time. Currently, there's nothing to do in the factory, so let's just go ahead and end the day and see what we have. So, we can take a look at the oh, I see a problem. That problem is a pH value. 80%? Tea plants like acidic soil, and preferably about a pH value of 5. That's about-ish optimum. And this one currently is way, way off. This will severely limit growth and stress the plant out as well. So what we're going to do is try and lower that with a little dose of iron pyrite. Fool's gold, as they call it as well, pyrite. Let's see, that would get it down to 60, so quite close to where we need to be, and up the iron levels in the soil as well. It ups our flavonol content of the source compounds and enzymes that are responsible for oxidation of the plant or the leaves as we process them. That one is also slightly increased, and we lose a little bit of theanine. That's fine, who cares, right? So put that one on. Just fix up the field before we start any kind of harvest. And we are soon going to start harvesting because we are moving into the season of the first flush. That is where you usually harvest white teas and green teas. And that is mid-February to mid-ish March, late March. And then there's a small break, and then you come into the second flush, which is in May. Then you have another break, then you come into the autumn flush, which is in September, August, September, and up to October, not November anymore. So let's have our workers finish up that little job. It is now the first week of February, and we can make excellent white teas if we have the plants for it and if we have the soil for it. But alas, we do not. But what we can do is try and prepare for the green tea first flush. Because the cultivars that we have, the cultivar that we have put on this field is decent, as we said, for green tea. Cool. If I could choose 1 or 2 improvements, what would they be? I think a reasonable one for, especially for green teas, might be to plant some shade trees. They're going to provide the plants with a little bit of shade during the day, and like not permanent, but just a few little trees here and there, and that will not put as much stress and UV damage into the leaves, and that in turn will change some of those compounds to the better. And what we're going to do here is just plant them. They are going to stay around. We don't have to redo that at any point, and I think that's a good long-term investment. And also, that will up the caffeine in the plants. And caffeine is something that is being rated for oolong teas. If I remember right, we shall see very soon. Oh, we do have another problem. Whoops. Should have thought about that a little earlier maybe, but we do have a few weeds, and it's not that kind of weed. So it's less pleasurable. A big harvest of wheat is coming up first. We do need to get rid of that, because the more weeds you have, the faster the pests are growing there too. Weed removal, that is taking away a lot of this stuff, so that's looking good. Let's do this, and then let's hope our field doesn't dry out too much. So that's another week down. Green tea is becoming excellent now, so I think this is about time that we start harvesting our first good harvest. Water levels are 24%. Could think about it like this. If we water now and wait until week 4 February, we are wasting, you could say, a very, very good spot for harvesting green, but it's actually increasing more towards March. But if we then end up having to water the plants and not being able to harvest in mid-March, that would be really bad, because we're missing out at that point. So what I'm going to do is schedule the watering now, like this, apply the treatment, and that will have our plants prepared. And now I think it's time for our first harvest. Let's see what we do. So if you want to know more about the general gist of making these teas, you can open up this little menu here, and you go plucking, and you see what you're supposed to pluck roughly, and you can go through the process, what you're expected to be doing. And we don't need that. I know this by now. We are going to pluck the first leaf. Do we want to have a big harvest here? Yeah, let's try a big one for the first one, and then maybe cut it down a little. So 31 kilograms. That's going to give us a solid baseline there. Let's have that scheduled, and now just click the field work, and we are going down here and start our processing. First off, we have to take a look at what this tea has in source compounds, which then can be turned into flavor compounds. And these flavor compounds are being rated in the tea for tea quality. That needs to be as high as possible. More is better. Very easy. So we click green tea here and see that, we have a lot of everything, but not much. Okay, that's maybe not great, but let's have a look. We have here, so source components. This is the class of source component you see here. This is how much you have of that one. And these are the flavor compounds that are being produced through these triggers that you see here, and are being destroyed with these triggers. So if it says a big M here, big circle with M, that means through moisture loss. Moisture loss is naturally occurring as you are producing the tea, so you basically don't have to worry about that one. Then you have cell damage, CD. We have oxidation, that's O. And we have UV. Well, that's UV light, right? We do not have any safranol coming from the carotenoids for this specific cultivar. Every cultivar has a different set of these source compounds, which then can be converted into flavor compounds. How much do we need to extract? That's That's a fair amount to create that beta ion. How would you say that? Ionon? Ionon? Ionon. Let's call it beta ionon. And we are going here. I think I'm going to go for the bruising machine. Has a huge capacity. It's great for that. And install that machine. And before we drop those in there, have to consider, is this really the first step that we want to do? I think it is. Do want to extract that one first, and then go into a withering machine setup so that we can extract the rest and see how much we need to oxidize beyond that. Because green tea is slightly oxidized. We need to check that out while also removing the moisture from the tea in the production. So, let's do this. Boom. Oh, no. Don't drop it on the floor. There, into the machine we go. Now, every machine has different controls. Can be a single one. Do some machines have none? Can't remember. No, I think every machine has at least one. So, airflow, as well as pressure. The pressure here is dictating how much cell damage you are producing. And moisture loss is affected by the airflow, but also oxidation. And we do want to have a bit of oxidation. If you have damaged your leaves, then they oxidize slightly faster. It's like if you cut an apple in half and you just leave it out there, it turns brown, right? That's the kind of enzymatic oxidation that we're talking about here. All right, I'm going to set this one up to run, let's say 30 seconds, and take a look at the leaves. We do want to extract. This is a small cell damage one. This will be tough to extract all of it. But all right, here we go. So we turn it on, and you see all the processes that are producing these now, and we have cell damage being active here, and that is destroying the L-theanine that has been produced. This is a flavor compound that is, as you see there, highlighting cream, fruits, and umami. But umami, so it's not working out so great, is it? We almost have reached the maximum. No, we haven't. Still a little bit to go. As soon as we hit the maximum, we can't extract more. But already plenty of damage on the leaves, which is it's not great. We need more time here. This is almost done. Almost at the maximum damage we can incur. And yep, there we go. Stop it right there. Can't do anything more. We weren't able to fully extract all the compounds there. But in the meantime, this here was also cell damage based, right? Cell damage, and we were at the same time withering the leaves because they were cut off, and there was a lot of airflow and temperature and whatnot to, well, not that high temperature, 20 degrees, but still. We were drying the leaves at the same time and oxidizing them at the same time. So what happened is all the other compounds also got extracted at the same time. So now we have plenty of flavor compounds in there. This one is kind of lost, but now we want to make sure that we actually can sell the tea. Currently it's still white tea, and it's sitting at, like, what is this, 95 roughish percent water still in there, percent of the water still in there, and we want to get down to 20%. So what's the next machine going to be? How much enzymes do we have? That's not much. 16 is pretty terrible if you want to oxidize anything. But it's great because you don't have to necessarily roast the tea in order to make it sellable. If you're having values here for like 60, 80 or whatever, then you really need to, in order to get the quality of the tea up, need to kill the enzymes by heating the tea up enough. And that is done by roasting it. Here in this case, I think we get around this. The cell damage is reasonably high, which means that the oxidation will be slightly more effective. So what we can try is just go for a withering machine and install that one. It's expensive. It has 30 kilograms of maximum load, and fortunately we have exactly 30 kilograms left. That was not planned, by the way. But that is what we're going to try. Let's set up the machine. High airflow for high oxidation. You see the enzymatic oxidation level there and how it varies with airflow. Also moisture loss is getting up, but you see here there's already quite a lot of moisture loss here, but very little oxidation. But this is at 70 degrees. And at 70 degrees, we do get a lot of evaporation. So volatile chemicals within the leaf would be leaving the leaf. Oh man. And make the tea worse, because that is tastes that would be in the leaf in the finished tea. But we want to conserve them. So what we're going to check out is how many E's are there. The letter E. We have a big E there, another big E there. Not great. Yeah, and plenty of E's there. So basically that's telling us that evaporation is not something that you necessarily want to have. Rather, you'd avoid it. How do you avoid evaporation? Well, by lowering the temperature a lot. So evaporation comes right down there. But we could up the airflow. Evaporation is upped by that too, but not all that much. So this is still, yeah, just upped a little bit. So let's go maximum airflow, lowest possible temperature with this machine. This withering machine is basically a hot air fan. And you see here the effective humidity it's producing is 15%. Currently the ambient relative humidity is 48%. So this is why it dries so quickly. And these are, by the way, the mechanics that I completely rewrote. None of this was working like that before. But I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, ambient temperature 20 degrees, humidity 15. Quite quick drying, high oxidation levels. Let's kick off the machine and just see how it goes. let it run. So it should be drying reasonably quickly. We are losing through oxidation some of the beta ionon, and you see here it's decreasing rapidly even, but oxidation is because we are oxidizing the tea at the moment. Oxidation is looking really good. It's actually quite fast, maybe too fast. So let's stop this machine and pull down that one. Maybe we don't want to have that much oxidation, because you see here, we want to get this pointer, this needle, to be exactly at 20. And we might be overshooting a bit from the looks of it. Let's see, maybe we did produce a little too much damage on the leaves. So speed this up, see what happens. Yeah, now you see the speed of this one has significantly come down, but this is still drying at a decent pace. And we are now green tea, 2.4 star green tea. That's respectable. The quality is lowering and lowering because we are losing this quality compound here, beta ionon. But this is looking like it's going to be pretty much perfect for the oxidation level of the tea. Yeah, it's looking good. Also, we are not going to use any factory over time. And you see the weight coming down because we are losing water. And we are very close to optimum. And there you go. Made our first tea. 2.2 stars out of 5. And you can't really reach 5. That's the theoretical maximum. Not really the theoretical maximum. But the best I've achieved before was in testing was like 4.8 or so. Just to give you a reference point, but that is with the very best plants, like massive amounts of money invested into the soil treatments and perfect weather for it, and yeah, and then hopefully mostly perfect processing, and then you can get 4.8, maybe 4.9. But yeah, we draw the tea to the tea house. We have 6.2 kilograms of this tea now. It has a flavor profile that is it's rather meh. So what are we going to call this one? I think we are going to call it okay green. Well, it's just okay. This tea is just okay. And it's green, getting a green box, of course. We're going to sell it for a lot of money because we like that. The customers not so much, but who cares about the customers, right? We're a boutique tea maker. You better pony up some cash, yo. 303 no, $304 per kilogram. So that is, once it sells, the sell speed is 30% at the moment. Once it sells, it's going to give us a decent amount of cash already for this first one. How much would that be? 6 kilos, 6 times 3 is, 18? Wow. Okay, $1,800. Not too bad. There you go. Continue. All right. What is next? Ending the day is next. We have used all our resources, all the time we needed, and now we can decide what we want to do next. We could do another harvest of green tea, and maybe make it better. We could also just wait for the leaves to refresh, but we still have a decent amount of growth in this still. And you see, it's a little bit less than before, and that is because we already plucked last week, so it's regrowing, of course, but we are plucking faster than it regrows at this point. And I think we do need some money, so let's do another one of these, but instead automate the process. Or maybe we should take notes to be able to automate the process. So yes, I think we do need the money. We need to make the money to buy better plots of land, better tea. And what is our goal here, by the way, in this little playthrough? I think what we should be aiming for is making 4.5 star teas of every kind. I think that would be reasonable. So another round of plucking here is scheduled, 29 kilograms. We put that into the bruising machine again. And while we could automate the process, this is just a 2-machine process, so why would we? Let's start this one. Let's see if the contents have changed much. We just need to somehow get this going. Could also use UV in order to extract even more of it. But should we? Don't necessarily think that might be worth it. We could go UV first and then cell damage. Because if we go UV first, this is the destroying trigger for these. But at that point, there is nothing in the pool that could be destroyed, or very low quantities. So that might be a good way of going about it. We start over there. But by us just putting those into the machine here, we have already partially damaged the leaves. So let's not just throw them around willy-nilly between the machines, right? We can just go with this again. I think that worked pretty well overall. And you see the green tea skyrocketing here. Very nice. Yeah, it's so satisfying to see all those compounds being generated. And our leaves are severely damaged already. This machine adds up to 0.3 basically of leaf destruction. And the more destroyed your leaves are, the lower quality your tea is. People don't care when they're buying lower quality teas, they expect it to be broken, but if you want to go to really high qualities, they expect nice leaf integrity. That's just not given here at this moment. But this is looking okay-ish. We have so much of the carotenoids here sitting left in here to make beta iron. That's a shame, really. It would benefit the tea overall if we could get that out. But if I put that on, I would be losing so much of these compounds that I'm not really willing to risk that or do that at the moment. Could always, you know what? We could do that with just a little quantity of it. So we drop off like everything but a kilo and just put in the sun withering tray here and have that one, the last remaining 1.1 kilos, dropped into there just for testing purposes, right? So let's run this one first. And we are going to put a time on it of, do we want to oxidize this as well? Yeah, I guess, I mean, it's green tea, it's supposed to oxidize. So let's put 60 seconds on there and check out what happens. Is this quality going up or down? It's actually going up. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. It is actually going up a little bit. So it's still beneficial. I think the next one, the next batch, we are going to do sun withering first, so that we don't lose as much because these pools aren't filled yet. And then we go cell damage next, which then is basically the same as we do otherwise. But you see here, we're depleting that pool completely now, and now we're at, yeah, 267. That's not too bad, right? A little bit more, and there we go. Now it's 0. 0, all source compounds used. And you go right there into the round folder, as they call it. Well, it's the trash bin. But thanks for letting me know. I learned my lesson now, and what we're going to do now is just do the previous process with 1 kilo less of those leaves. It was a nice experiment, and the game is very much about experimentation in that sense. So just feel free to drop a little bit of tea. 1 kilo was too much. Could have done that with just 100 grams or whatever to test it out. But so what do we want here? Medium amounts of oxidation, something like this. We're going to vary this one in order to find the perfect amount of oxidation for our green tea. So speed up time and see how the needles rise. Whoa. Oh, stop. That is way too fast. That is way too fast. So let's do that. Stop it right there and go for minimum, actually, and see where we end up. We do want to have much quicker drying. We're still, like I said, we're quite fortunate that we don't need to roast this stuff, because as soon as you roast it, you're going to lose so much through evaporation, even if it's quite short roasting. Yeah, this is looking good. I think we're going to pretty much nail it. Going to be a little bit low on the oxidation, so I'm going to stop the machine here and up the airflow a little, like this, and continue on. So we see the oxidation rise. There is perfect. Stop the machine. And now back to no airflow, or as little as possible, and do the remaining. See, we're pretty much spot on there. 2.3 stars. All right, what was this one? 2.2. So we are, with us having beautifully excellent branding, we are going to call this tea. We could just add it to the existing one, by the way. But we can just call this tea okay. But it is a little bit more expensive because it's higher quality. Everything in our shop sells at a 50% anti-discount, and we're quite happy for it. You see here? That's the difference. That made a big difference. We are selling this one at 50% above market rate for 297, and this little improvement that we made actually allows us to sell it for like 25 bucks extra. Isn't that wonderful? Incremental improvements in this game, or I designed it such that incremental improvements in this game are really quite rewarding. You want to strive for them. You're being rewarded for them, even if you just make okay tea. We've already sold 220 bucks worth of the first okay tea. Yeah, that's nice. We have a sales speed of 30%, as I pointed out. So this is going to last us a little while. Time for the next day. Let's see. We have learned our lesson. Let's see if we can put that into practice. Oh, the growth factor, as the weather improves, it's getting hotter too. And that means more oxidation is going to happen naturally. Got to keep an eye on this. Also, more enzymes are coming out for the weather. Those are rapidly increasing now. The leaves are building those up. 30 kilos, perfect for our purposes. So let's pluck that again. And now we have the issue of we need 2 batches. Because the sun withering tray only has 20 kilos of capacity. Let's install another one here. And we are going to have this also at maximum airflow. It's on the outside. And we are going to have this one run 30 seconds. Just like the other one. There you go. I had set it to a minute. I used 31 seconds previously. So I think this is going to be about right. We are dropping in 15 kilos into this one. And the remainder into there. So we do have 2 workers left over who can work in the factory. 4 were used for the harvesting. And we are going to kick that one off at the same time. You can't recombine these leaves into a batch, unfortunately, even though they are treated the same way. That's getting quite complicated because you have split the batches, they're treated as separate entities, and recombining them is not really a thing there. But yeah, the drying time was so quick with the withering machine. I think we can cope with this before. We might go into overtime, but it's fine. So we do want to have 30 seconds. Now let's see what happens in that time. You see EUV, this one is extracted really quickly. And we don't get so much. Oh, sorry. Here we are. You see, yeah, we are losing this stuff, but there's very little to lose. So on a percentage basis, we are losing way less than we would. Oh, this is good. And see if we can upgrade the tea even more. Let's see how much this one is going to sell for with our new knowledge base of how to make proper tea. Oh, we're up to 0.23 in terms of enzymes. Yeah, that is becoming more and more potent in terms of oxidation. So we're going to put that in here, and we're going to run it for the 30 seconds that we usually do, and just see how well this one is extracting all the... Ooh, you see how the quality increases there? Yeah, it's nice. It's destroying all of that good stuff. Yeah, that's one of the disadvantages. Because previously we were doing this step first, so this pool of flavor compounds was pretty much empty at the start. So now we're going to, through having the trigger of, destruction trigger of the cell damage, act on this full pool, we're going to lose a bit more. Maybe they offset each other, maybe not. So we are at 30 there. That's good. And we take those 14 kilos and put them in there. And we put those in here. Time is automatically resetting. And let's see, how do we want to set up the machine? I think I want to start out with lower levels of oxidation, because I don't know how much it is going to be running away. All right, let's launch this one. Let's launch this one. And keep an eye on that. Let's accelerate time. We are on green tea. We do get everything. Okay, we did extract everything there was to extract, so that's great. We just have to wait on this one now because we only have one proper withering machine, and I don't want to buy for $4,000 another one. We're a little bit on the low side for cash, especially if we want to buy a new field anytime soon. So while the other leaves here are waiting in the other machine, they are considered to not be oxidizing further. Like it's just a time freeze for them. Otherwise, this would be easily getting a little too complex and hilariously frustrating. But no, it's just where the time is running, where the batch of leaves is actually changing. So let's run downtime and hope not too much gets destroyed. The needle is rising slowly. We're still fine. I think we're still fine. We might need to speed up the oxidation towards the end a little bit. Now it's switching over to green tea here. Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it there, there it goes. Green tea achieved. And now I think I do want to stop this and hasten the oxidation a bit. Like this, and just let it continue. Now you see it really rise much faster, and Is it pretty much perfect? Oh, yes, it is. 2.2 stars. Oh no. Oh, that's unfortunate. So it's not better than previously. Ah, damn it. So it turned out that our change in process, or the weather maybe, highlighting different compounds, was not quite enough to make a better tea. The previous method was slightly better. So you can see here the difference between our very first OKT and the one that we made right now. We have floral 1.84 in our new one, and we have floral 1.81 in the previous one. Yeah, let's call it the same. It's not that great. So we can skip the UV part. That's actually great, because that is just more work, right? So let's add it to stock right there. Put this one in here and have it set up the same way. Let's oxidize it and put it into store once it's ready. We do have to pay for overtime. There you go. Because we certainly do not want to have half a batch just be thrown out. And 30 bucks for something that is yielding us several hundred seems like a good deal. So let's do that and just keep an eye out for that needle over there. We will have to do the same thing to up the oxidation towards the end. So let's stop it right there and do that. Pull it up again, something like there. And rerun. Now it should be sticking up way faster. Yeah, this is looking good. Yeah, nice. 2.2 stars and 2.8 kilos. That's going to give us a nice profit. Let's see, we only have 3.1 kilograms in stock. That's going to change now. We have 5.6 in stock again. And we have already sold for 440 bucks. Yeah, solid. And you know what? What I want to try? Just quickly. Oh, should we sacrifice that? Like a really good week in March? I want to try to make a white tea and just see how awful it's going to be. Yeah, let's do this really quick. Next day, white is already falling off. It's the last chance to make a good white tea, by the way. Like, start of March, mid-March. It's getting there. So, let's take out the second leaves. And remember, our cultivar choice is really not suited to making white teas. The terroir isn't either. So this is going to be a little rough, a little oof. We could call it, instead of okay tea, we can call it oof tea. I still want to do an oolong instead of an oolong, but we are going to get there too. So let's harvest just buds and first leaf. And what are we going to do? Yeah, just harvest, it's fine. This, we should check, does require UV quite heavily, and it does not have any UV destruction triggers. So we have a UV major there, and the rest is basically just moisture loss, which is guaranteed anyway. So what we're going to do is pull those over and drop them right there, turn it on, and see what happens. There, those are being... Oh, UV destruction trigger there. Sorry, forgot about that one. But this should be going really quickly because this is a large UV trigger. And that's pretty fast. So once this is all converted over, this is the only trigger. So that's the only chance we have to get those source compounds. Once that is done, we gotta stop it. 0.003, it's fine. So now, what do we want to do with this? The problem is we have a decent amount of enzymes in it. It might just oxidize away from us. We could dry it in here, but that's at least 40 degrees and it does have some evaporation to it. What we could try is, well, expensive machine. We could try the drying rack. We could try just bamboo trays. I think that might be the way to go. Yeah, I think we just need a simple bamboo tray. Put it on there. $50. We have $50. Just put this on there and wait for a long time. We do have 26 degrees roughly at the moment. So we do want to limit the amount of airflow to it because that is driving the enzymatic oxidation. So limit that one and just put it in there for 10 minutes or something and see what happens. So we go with this one, and this is going to take a while. Let's speed it up. At this point, we have only lost 20% of the humidity, and we are 1/3 through. Is this going to be okay? Maybe. Let's see how much time we have left over. The oxidation is definitely staying at a decent level, so I can't complain about that. Now we're more than halfway done, but time is running out. This might not be enough time to actually dry this tea. So, okay, overtime it is. Overtime it is, and we only have 250 seconds more. Is this going to be enough? I think it's going to be close. Oh, let's continue on. Yeah, we're getting really damn close. But I need a little bit more oomph in this. 50 seconds. No, this is not going to be enough. Let's put it in here. This hurts. We do have to... Yeah, low airflow. I think that... Yeah, that needs to be done. This is going to trigger some evaporation, which is going to destroy the white tea, but it's very limited amounts. It's not too bad, he says. Famous last words. So let's take a look. These are all active now. And here we go. No, it's fine-ish. No, it survived. It survived, and we still have 12 seconds remaining of our overtime. If the overtime runs out, the tea is thrown out. So that would have been a significant loss. Let's put our 1.9 star white tea in here and give it the appropriate name. It's okay. So yeah, here we have it, and we're going to sell it, of course, for 50% more than we should. Add the product to the store and continue on. And I think this is a nice package for a first episode. I hope you enjoyed, and smash that like button. Very important to send it out to more people. In case you enjoyed this, either the game or being informed about the game, please consider sharing it. And I hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time.